Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the Breakdown podcast. It is Sunday after all, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I think there's lots to discuss. I think from a Cardiff City point of view, it was very much a game of two halves, game of two types of performance. And look, I think in many ways, the best metric of judging this Cardiff City side is if you go and look at what opposing fans think about our team after games, and you can do it throughout the season. They all think that we are the best team they come up against, and I think that says a lot. And I thought yesterday what we did was quite interesting. We showed our quality on the ball in the first half, and then we showed some real balls in the second half, and that's not always easy, for a young team. And I think Barry Murphy, as I mentioned earlier in 5 things, he was quite clever yesterday. I think he's been pretty clever with like his rotation generally and just keeping everyone fit as he can and sharp. I do think at this point we probably need to give him something, if it's a couple of loans or whatever, just to make sure the wheels don't come off because we get a load of injuries. But I thought the first 10 minutes of the game was a bit, up and down, back and forth, as you'd expect, frenetic. But I thought for 20, 25 minutes, I thought we were just absolutely sensational. And if you go back and watch that sort of 20-minute period where we score from the first goal till about 35 minutes, we just were exquisite on the ball. Everything was just coming off, just popping it about. And, Bradford, who are a very, very good team, is particularly at home, we're chasing shadows for long periods of that half. And I think that says a lot. And I think, look, I had a few texts when the starting lineup come out, and whether it was people saying, I'm not sure about Osho in this game, or Chambers hasn't trained all week, or Turnbull in the 10. Oof. And look, I'm not going to be hypocritical. Some of those concerns I share at times. I'm losing my apprehension slightly with Osho. I think he's been really, really good, and I'm really, really happy for it. We always said there was a player there. He was just taking a bit of time to settle. Now, Turnbull in the 10, I will say I'm still not convinced he's a number 10. However, I thought it was a really clever selection for this game, and I thought he was very, very good. I'd go as far to say that might have been his best game for us, but certainly this season we're starting to see why we paid a couple of million for him, because I think he's starting to show the type of player he can be. Interesting you say that, Gavin. Gavin says Robertson, first name on the team sheet for me. Number one, he's definitely one of the first names on the team sheet for me. I completely agree. I think him and Wintle now as a partnership are pretty immovable. If they're both fit, you got to play them both. I think I know I have a video coming out on Alex Robertson this week, and if you want a comprehensive deep dive into a Cardiff City player, you ain't going to find anything more detailed and a more thorough look at a player, at his background, his stats, his abilities, and everything in between. It's a piece of work which I'm very proud of, actually, I've got to say. But anyway, enough of that. Back to the good old stuff. So not the good old stuff, but you know what I mean. Back to the game. Look, I thought we were very, very good, and then in the second half, I thought we were just as good, but in a very different way. We just dug in and we defended our box so well. When we switched to 5-3-2, 3-5-2, whichever way you look at it, I thought it was really clever from the manager. We didn't go 5-4-1, sit in and hope for the best and just kind of hoofing it up to Callum Robinson, who's never going to win a lot of flick-ons. We went Isaac Davis up top, with Callum Robinson buzzing around him, and utilised Isaac's pace. So Bradford couldn't commit an extra defender into their attacks and their build-up to try and get those overloads, because they knew we'd catch them. And now it didn't quite come off in terms of Isaac getting in and getting a shot on goal or getting a chance. Nearly did a couple of times. But it just meant Bradford couldn't do it without really risking it, because we had effectively 2 up front. And I thought it was really, really clever from the manager. And even like Joel Colwell, I know Gavin has said in a comment on the video earlier that he doesn't think Joel's a right back. He's not a right back, is he? Like, let's be honest. I thought if we're going to play 3 centre backs, I don't mind him a right wing back. Right back, positionally, I thought he was a bit, sometimes didn't know whether to press and stay. And of course, because he's not done it that much. But I'm glad that, Kapaklia was out. They knew NG was probably not got 90 minutes in him. So they came up with a plan to address that. And they trained it and they drilled it and they did it. And I thought he did a decent job. And actually, if you look at Bradford's attacks in the second half, not a lot of them came down that side. Now, on one hand, you could perhaps direct the criticism at Alexander and Bradford and say, well, they should have targeted him more. Or maybe Joel just did a decent job. He was high energy. He probably got caught out a couple of times positionally, but he did a good job out of position. Now, he can't play right back all the time because he's our cover for midfield. That is an issue, isn't it? When Turnbull starts and you've got Alex and Wintle in the middle, no Ruben, no Kellyman, Joel Colwell's the only midfield cover. Now, could the manager have gone with Dylan Lawler at right back, say, or even Fish? He probably could have. I do think they're protecting Dylan Lawler at the moment. They know they got some massive games coming up. He's been carrying a bit of a groin strain, I think it is. So protecting him is clever because you're going to need him. And I'm delighted for Gabe Osho because I saw some criticism of him, which was ridiculous. Like, oh, he's laughing or he's smiling. And it's like, if you can't have the dream job, i.e. being a professional footballer, get paid to play football, and then you can't enjoy it, like, I don't know what people want. Like, at no point does he ever look like he doesn't care. He just plugs he plays with a football with a smile on his face. And when he has made a mistake, you can see it's more of a wry smile sort of thing. But look, right, I'm pleased for him because I did always think there was a player there. And I think we even said on last week's breakdown, Gabe Osho defensively last week was colossus, absolutely colossal. He was his defensive numbers were mental, and I haven't looked at the numbers yet because I'm going to do a player ratings video tomorrow because a few people have asked for it. So I'm going to bring it back. Just might be minus the graphics. I don't know yet because that's the time consuming bit. We'll see. But the player ratings video is back tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to doing it. I got to say. I just thought it was 2 really good halves. I thought Gavin Chambers, Callum Chambers, and Gabe Osho, I just thought were excellent. Oh, Joel Bagan was excellent. Perry NG was really good. Into obviously went off, and then Joel did a job. I thought Wintle and Robertson, that pivot is just such a good balance. If you need it slowed down and just keep holding the ball a little bit, Ryan Wintle's your man, does the dirty work. Alex Robertson is the aggressive, progressive midfielder. And if you need to play off one touch, he will pop it about for days. He will triangles, 1-2s, always looking for the ball back, and has got that really progressive passing in him as well if you're looking to thread it through an eye of a needle. And I can't wait to get Dylan Lawler behind that pairing. Obviously, Dylan's been in and out for a few weeks now, but I'm hoping he'll be back for the home game next week. But let's be honest, and this is the first topic of the evening, how blessed are we to have 4 centre-backs who I think could all play in the Championship. If we get promoted, they could all play in the Championship next year easily and all be looking to start. Callum Chambers, we've talked about to death, like his mentality and his attitude and all the rest of it. So I'm not going to sort of drill that point again. But I do think we're seeing the best version of him that we've seen in the Cardiff City shirt. And as I sort of pointed to earlier, the man has played for England. The man is has been played Premier League football, at Arsenal and the rest of it. Like, there's clearly a quality footballer there. We just haven't seen the best of him. Now, is that because of the chaotic nature last year that this team was? So he got a bit exposed. Do we do a better job of hiding his weaknesses now? Or has he upped his game a level? I would argue or is it that we're playing at a lower level? I would argue it's a combination of all three. I think all things can be true. I think he is playing better. I think we do a much better job of protecting the centre backs. Like last year, it was one pass through the middle, and the teams were on our centre backs running at them at pace. Now, that double pivot, particularly since Brian Barry Murphy's made the changes that he made to the rest defence, probably, I don't know, around October, November time, I think we've been even more so. We really protected them. And we just looked solid. I just thought we did the good stuff good, the pretty stuff good in the first half, and then we did the dogged stuff. Like Nathan Trott didn't have nothing to do. I don't remember him making a save. The one chance I thought Bradford should have scored, and I haven't looked at their XG actually, but I will have a look in a minute. But the one chance I thought they should have done better with was in the second half, where the winger wriggles his way past Bagan, gets in behind him, gets to the byline, he pulls it back to the corner of the 6-yard box, and the guy blazes it over. That was the one for me, and I said it to my son at the time. I said that was their chance. That was the clear-cut chance. They had to score, and he kind of does the right thing in that he tries to like put it high into the net, but yeah, he got it all wrong, and that was probably the chance, But hey, look, you won't hear me complaining about anything. I thought we were very, very good, and again, the manager got the big calls right, and I think we got to give him credit, and we'll give it. I've been critical when he got it wrong. Blackpool away, I thought he got it wrong in the second half, but I thought pretty much since then he's been pretty faultless most of the time in his selection, rotation, tactics, tempo of the game, and how we play. But also his in-game management has been really impressive for a guy who's a very young manager. I know he's managed Rochdale, but with the greatest of respect to Rochdale, even though it's similar level in league, although I think they were in League Two. Cardiff City is a whole different ball game. Like, it's a high pressure job. The fans expect certain things, and I've just been I knew about him. I did a video about him before he was in, and he was someone that I felt could contribute. But even I've been surprised at his abilities, and I'm delighted to say, because I think he'll only get better as a manager, and I just hope that he's with Cardiff for a long time. But the club has got to do their part now. And whilst at the start of January, I felt like, no, we'll be all right. Maybe a left back in. Ruben's coming back. We've got enough depth. We're looking a bit thin in areas now. And I would like to see the club, even if it's a couple of loans, just get them in, get the right players in, get some quality in to really help him. And I understand that is going to be the case. But until it's done and dusted, I would take everything with a pinch of salt. I say that all the time. Even take what I hear as a pinch of salt. It is what it is, isn't it? And people will try and stoke up the flames one way or another. We don't like to do that on this channel. We try to be as honest as possible with you guys as we can. I gave an update on the rumour mill the last couple of weeks. Not a great deal has changed. There is one thing which has changed, which I'll kind of fill you in on Tuesday. But there's something else I was going to tell you about. Oh, yes. So we have a member show tomorrow, of course. But another reason why you should absolutely be a member of Cardiff City World is because you get early access to tickets to live events. And we are on the brink of announcing the first live event of 2026. Now, some would argue, not sure where I stand on it, but some would argue that the guest that we're about to announce is bigger than Craig Bellamy. So if those tickets, what I can tell you, regardless of whether people think he's bigger or whatever than Bella's, what I can tell you is that those tickets will go, and they will go quick. So my best advice is, if you're a member, you get 24 hours early access to those tickets to assure you get yours. And in my opinion, that's the best reward bonus that you can get You'll also find out some of the stuff we got planned over this year, which is going to be, as soon as I've got dates and stuff for that, I'll start updating people on what's going on. But it's going to be a big year for Cardiff City World and for Ace Nation Media. We got all sorts of massive stuff gone. And like I said to you before, once we start recording this inside the EFL series now, be like nothing that's ever been done by a independent content creator. I don't know what you'd even call it, channel, whatever. Like, it'll be like it's nothing that's been done before, and I'm excited for it. I am here for it, and I cannot wait. It's actually killing me waiting for a date. It's like making me sad, but there we go. I'm also going up to interview a former Cardiff City midfielder in a few weeks. Spoke to him today. Looking forward to that. I'm actually hoping that I can tie in like a couple of interviews over that weekend, because they all there's a few of them live in a similar sort of area. So looking forward to that. So we've got loads of stuff coming on the channel. But it's back to Cardiff. Last 5 games, won 3, drawn 2. Since that, another thing we've done really well. Every time we've lost, we have reacted. The reaction, not just the next game, but the next 5, has been really, really good. Now, you go back to the Blackpool game, we went on a mad run, scoring 3 every game. You go back to the Bolton game, we went on a nice run of getting points on the board. Bradford earlier in the season, it's impressive for a young team to react like that, especially now as we go. Like yesterday was nervy in the second half. Defending your box and stuff is nervy, and it was difficult to watch at times, I tell you, as that game was going on. But that's what it's going to be like for the rest of the season now. These are high stakes, and it's a high pressure situation. And as I said earlier, that is why your Nathan Trotts, your Gabe Oshos, your Callum Chambers, your Perry Engies, your Ryan Wintles, your Callum Robinsons, Chris Willock, like, they're really important to this young team, because, even Alex Robertson, he's been there and done that in League One, got automatic promotion with Portsmouth. So he's been there, he's lived it, and he did great in League One with them previously before coming to us. This is big. And again, Stockport at home on Saturday. You win that, and it just opens up that gap a bit more between us and the chasing pack. Now, obviously you don't know how the results are going to go, but at the moment, Stockport are on 45 and we're on 55. That's a 10-point gap. You win next week, and that's 13 points between us and 4th. Look, I said the other day, I want the league title. I don't want to finish second. Yeah, look, promotion at all costs, of course, but I want the league title. I want my son to see us lift the trophy. I don't care if it's League One. I want my son to see us lift the trophy. Last season was brutal. It was upsetting, and it was just horrible. But I feel like we're building something now for the long term, and why not? Let's get a trophy as well. But we've got to do it, I think. So someone put in the chat, I think, I forget who it was, I apologize. Someone put in the comments earlier, they think we need 12 wins from the rest of the season. I don't disagree, but I actually think we need 30 points. I think 30 points and we'll be good from now, which would take us to 85. Just the way the league's been. And what is there? 16 games left, is it? 30 points from 16. Doable. Got to keep that home run going. Interesting yesterday. Didn't create anywhere near the amount of chances that we usually do. Bradford, a very good side. And we'll talk about Bradford in a minute. But we still scored 2 goals. And what 2 phenomenal goals in different ways as well. So, yeah, look, it was exciting. It was nerve-wracking. Everything you'd expect. But it was a professional, well-done job. So let's have a look at Bradford, right? Because Bradford, they do not lose at home. I think they've lost 1 in the last 12 months. And when they score first, they always win. So it was important to get that early goal or that first goal. and one was never going to be enough. Like, we always were going to have to score more than one. And to go to a place like Bradford, who, very rarely lose at home, are a very good football inside, got some really exciting players in their team. I really like Noiville. I really like Bobby Poynton. I think that Metcalf looks a real player. And we talked about Max Power in the preview. They got some real good footballers. A friend of mine was a bit critical of Yusuf yesterday, said he didn't do enough. I thought he just had an absolute war with tilt at the back. And yeah, he wasn't as clean, perhaps, with some of the balls not sticking like they had the week before. But it's difficult when you've got one or two centre-backs on top of you. I know Bradford fans were not happy they didn't get a penalty. I actually thought it was a penalty, but I also thought the Joe Bagan one was a penalty. So I think it evened itself out. I also thought that the guy who shouldered or just barged into Isaac Davis because he knew he was done for pace in the second half off the ball. The ball was played up the wing into space, and Isaac has turned to go, and he would have done him for pace, and the guy just took him out. It was off the ball. There was no need for it, no intention to play the ball, and you could see Barry Murphy was not happy with it. I thought that was a red card, and the reason I thought it was a red card is it was off the ball. There was no intention to play the ball. It wasn't a challenge for the ball. He just took him out because he knew he had him for pace. So for me, that's a professional foul. And because it was off the ball, I think there's an argument you could make for violent conduct. But it is what it is. Let's go to some of the comments. Some of you were positive, some of you were not usually. So let's see where you are tonight. JT says, if BBM had the backing that Lee Grant got at Huddersfield, we'd be 10 points better off. Maybe, mate. But then sometimes bringing in a load of players and spending a lot of money, as seen with Huddersfield, it doesn't always work. And we've been down that route before as well, bringing in a load of players. However, I do tend to agree with you that maybe if we'd given him one or two genuine, real quality players, that, we'd have... we'd be clear, but Jonathan Mordecai says Bradford have only lost 3 games in 13 months at home, and that includes our game. Just putting that win into more positivity. Yeah, it's a good shout, mate. They do not lose at home very often. Gavin says Cy Joel is not a right back. He did a job, mate. That's all you can say. Evening, Matt. Graham, evening. Matthew Ashley says, happy to be proven wrong by Osho yesterday. I thought last week might have just been a one-off, but yesterday he arrived, was absolutely outstanding, strong, fast, and dominated. 100%, mate. And there was a couple of opportunities or a couple of times where Bradford clearly tried to target him because they thought he had a mistake in him, and the two of them would try and cut off the passing lanes and, make him into him. And he just carried the ball into space and popped it off. And I just thought the way he chose when to engage, when to drop off and mark the space was really intelligent. And look, he's an experienced footballer. He's a Premier League footballer not that long ago. And he's not old. So, thought he was very, very good. Gav said about Robertson being the first name on the team sheet. John says, I was always a player with Osho. It was just a massive confidence issue, making him nervous. But now the confidence is coming back and he looks more settled. Yeah, and it's not just the nerves from the mistakes he made. It's the anxiety. The crowd, like every time he got the ball at home, the crowd were just like, oh. And it was, it was audible, like you could hear it. And it was a problem. And I think new club, new surroundings, new area, it takes time to settle, man. And I thought Barry Murphy was really clever. So I just mentioned the anxiety when he was getting the ball at home after those, few mistakes and nearly mistakes as well. When he's brought him back into the team, away from home. I think that's another clever thing from the manager. And I don't think anyone, if he starts against Stockport next week, I think people will be much more confident in his ability to do it. And Martin says, during that 20-minute spell when we were on top, the progression through the lines was fantastic. We got Robertson and Turnbull into space on the edge of their area by playing around Max Power. Yeah, Max Power was just like spinning. His head was spinning. We were just moving it really, really quickly. And it was off minimal touches. And that's something I've been critical of David Turnbull for, is wanting too many touches. And he was playing off. He started a bit slow, but then once he got going, and particularly when he got the goal, just started playing off two, and it was just beautiful to watch. Matthew says the three in the middle were all men of the match for me. They were absolutely outstanding. They were playing triangles around the Bradford midfield. Such a joy to watch. Yeah, and they dug in, mate. They did the dirty work after that as well. And I think that is something that sometimes goes amiss with the beautiful football in the first half. You know, the same players dug in the second half. And I know you bring subs on and the rest, but they were really, really good. But there were some aching legs today, mate. Evening, Reese Lasky. Jonathan says, another stroke of genius, by the way, keeping BBM, really kept Robertson hidden as soon as it looked like we needed to freshen up, brought him in like a new signing, and he was raring to go. Yeah. I think at the time, mate, we discussed it, didn't we, that perhaps it was like a masterstroke by not just bringing him straight in, making him like not quite frustrated, but like anxious to play and like raring to go, and you let him off the leash then, and it took him a game or two to get going. But even in the first game he played, I thought he was excellent on the ball. But I like that he's aggressive off the ball as well. Look, I said last season, just enjoy him while he's here, and I stand by that. Same with him, Dylan Lawler, and probably one or two others. You just got to enjoy them while they're at Cardiff City and in a Cardiff City shirt, fully dedicated to the cause, because unless we get back-to-back promotions, they ain't going to be here for the long term, because they're going to go play top-level football, because that's the quality of them already. And they're all young, which is mad, isn't it? Dan, evening, mate, says, isn't Callum's stories wicked? Isn't the Callum Chambers story wicked? Going from scapegoat to potential Cardiff City icon, some leader of men. You could tell that he's respected, top pro, looks in his element. Yeah, mate, I've said it a few times, and I only didn't mention it earlier because I didn't want to repeat it again. I just think it's a genuine inspiration. And like I was talking about Joel Colwell in the week, where he was starting, hometown club, loving it, playing week in, week out at the start of the season. And now he's out of the side, didn't even get on last week. And, he's got to look at your Callum Chambers and your Perry NGs, your Callum Robinsons, who had to wait their opportunities. Even Chris Willock at the start of the season had to wait for his opportunity. And then when you get your chance, that's when you show what you can do. And look, Joel Colwell is not a right back, but he did a shift for the boys and he did a shift for the team and he did his best. And I thought he did all right. They didn't destroy us down that left-hand side or anything like that. He did a good job. Graham says, disappointed by the Bradford manager and the fans blaming the ref for the win, saying Chambers getting clattered was a pen, not Bagan's challenge, plus the tackle on Ashford. Yeah, mate, it was interesting. I got a lot of time for Bradford, and their fans have been really complimentary about the channel and the team as well. But all I heard last week was how they're the king of the dark arts and blah, blah, blah. But they did not like it when it was reversed and we were a bit physical and we were slowing the game down and we were, people were going down for injuries or cramp or whatever. And I just think, like, if you give it, you've got to take it. And if I'm honest, I think the Chambers one, I wouldn't be shocked if it was a penalty, especially the stand of the referee in. But I thought the Bagan one was much more a penalty. Again, much like the challenge on Davis, like, there's no intention to play the ball. He just bumps him as he's gone because he's done him, and he just takes him out. That's a penalty. It's a foul, mate. Anywhere else on the pitch is a foul. Both of them. And like I said, I thought the one on Davis, I thought was probably an orange card. Like, you're probably not going to get a red, but it should be because there was the ball was gone. Like, there was nothing on. It was off the ball. You can't do that off the ball. The Ashford one's just a professional foul, isn't it? It's just a cynical. He's away from him. He's on the break, and he pulls him down. Martin says the Osho redemption arc is such a steep ingredient. They struggled with his pace and strength. Yeah, you're right there, mate. And he does really give that extra yard of pace to us as well. That recovery pace is really important, especially with Capaccio out. And then Gav makes a great point. Just imagine you've got Ruben to put into the midfield for the last 10 games or so. Yeah, I've heard he's recovering well. And can you imagine, right, the way we were popping that ball around yesterday, and then you imagine Ruben making third-man runs in behind Salic like he was earlier in the season. Oh, just beautiful. Can't wait. And then Kellyman as well. Oh, it's going to be great. Could we play with 2 number 10s? Get them both in there behind Salic. Yes, he did. I thought Ashford did a great job when he went over to that side, helping Colwell out. It's a good point, Graham. Jonathan says, do you know any more about how long Kellyman could be missing? So what I had heard in the middle of last week was that he probably isn't going to be out for ages and ages. It's not like a 3-month sort of job, but he's going to miss a few games or a couple of games is what it was said, a couple of weeks before it was said. But that type of injury, so it's not as bad as what he thought it was at the time. I think he thought it was quite a serious one at the time, just by how it felt. But apparently it wasn't as bad as they initially feared. But he's going to be out for a few weeks. So Geraint says, missed NG second half. They played on Colwell a lot. I didn't think they got down that side. And why wouldn't you would target the midfielder who's playing at right back. And I'm not saying he was man of the match or anything like that. I just think he put a good shift in, did his best, and I thought he pretty much locked down that left-hand side. A lot of their attacks were coming down the right, which I think is a testament to how well he did out of position. But of course, you don't want to be playing him there regularly. He's not right back. He is a number 8 busy, or a number 6, or even a number 10. But he's definitely a midfielder, not a right back. But he did a job. I think in future, if next Saturday, if NG and Capaccio are both out, I'd rather we put Dylan Lawler there, I think. Because I think he's done it before. He's good on the ball. It's probably a way to get him further up the pitch as well. But I understand why they probably went with Joel, because he's got the energy to get up and down. He'll get up and support. But as the game state ended up being when he came on, we didn't actually need him to go up too much. But look, it's a difficult, and they got to just stick in, haven't they? No, there's not 20 games left. I think there was only 17 the other day. Just have a look. Who was your man of the match yesterday? You're not allowed to say the midfield, or you're not allowed to say the centre backs. Who was your man of the match yesterday? It's a difficult one, but I think I would probably go with Osho. I thought Alex Robertson and Wintle were exceptional. I thought Callum Chambers was absolutely exceptional as well, a real leader. But I think I'd go with Osho. And Cardiff got 19 remaining. I thought it was 17 the other day. Well, 19 remaining as of yesterday, so it might be 18 now, according to AI at least. Martin says we're the only team in the division who are averaging more than 2 points a game. It's been really, really good. Osho says, Graham says Osho was unlucky not to score. No, I don't think it'll go to the wire. I think I think we could pull away if we keep our home form as it is. I think we could pull away, and if we perform like that away from home, I do. But it's difficult with this league. It's so up and down. The only reason I think we might pull away is because I think we've been pretty consistent, whereas the teams around us do tend to drop points and slip up at times. So I just think there might be an opportunity for us to pull away. Dan says, not sure if I'm being overcritical, but begging to get frustrated with Robinson and Davis when they come off the bench. Robbo especially looks a bit lost and off the pace. Try and move him on. Interesting, mate. Like, all opinions welcome. You know that. I think it's difficult coming off the bench anyway, because to find the pace. And I think it's even more difficult for a striker when we're playing on the break. So, for instance, yesterday, I think it suited Davis much more because it was effectively give him the ball or try and get him in behind, which is what he wants. Whereas Robbo, probably at the age he's at now, would rather have it to feet to either link up play or maybe get into little pockets of space. But look, I think at times Callum has struggled this year to get into the pace of the game. But what I've liked this year is that not once have I questioned his attitude or his work rate when he's come on. Like, he's always trying. And that to me is, it's difficult sometimes when it's a fast-paced game or the other team is in the ascendancy possession-wise. He spends a lot of time chasing the ball. Like, did they have a shot on target in the last 15 minutes? I don't think so. But they didn't have any clear-cut chances. They didn't really create anything. I thought we defended our box really, really well. JT says three game week coming up. Absolutely criminal if still no left back signed to play, but then they've had months to identify someone. I don't disagree with you, mate. I don't disagree with you, mate, but I don't think it's far off. Maybe. I don't know. Sheepish. Ryan says, if anyone was going to question our defensive resilience, they've passed with flying colours. Yeah, not for the first time, by the way. We've dug out some big away performances this year by just digging in. They only had one on target in the whole game, didn't they? As Matthew says there, which was the goal. Great goal that was, by the way. Two great goals, wasn't it? Actually, I thought Chambers' goal was real clever finish from him as well. Few of you saying that Bagan, Osho, Chambers, NG's got to be the defence away from home. I don't disagree, but I also wouldn't be unhappy to see Fish in there and Lawler for certain games. Like, I think sometimes we miss Lawler in the build-up a little bit, but it is what it is. Matthew says, one shot on target, but we were holding on. Yeah, we weren't holding on. What we did well is we defended our box really, really well. And they just didn't create anything, really. Like, honestly, crosses in the box and stuff like that. But you expect to deal with them, didn't you? And I just thought our overall defensive play was really good. And like I said, I thought it was a bit of a masterstroke by BBM to go 5-3-2, 3-5-2 and have two up front, because they just couldn't get the overloads in the areas that they wanted to then be able to get players like Max Power or Metcalf in the space to cause us problems. And I thought that was really clever. They were League One, was they? I wasn't sure off the top of my head. Martin says, illustrates how good our defensive play was throughout. We shut down pointing, and he had that one shot, didn't he, which went over. Evening, Paul. How are you, mate? Dan says, one thing I love about BBM is how modest he is. He never gets never wants to get high when things are going well, but always makes it clear that if the players are making him look good. Mate, I agree with you, but we saw the chaos and the shit show that it was last year, and you look at the difference with BBM and his team running things, and it's a big difference. Martin says, unless signings and loans, realistically, we should be looking at players who can make a major contributions in the Championship. Yeah, and I think one thing you do have to not understand, but we have to maybe understand as fans, is it's not FIFA, it's not Football Manager. You can't just go and sign whoever you want. And you've got to remember, whichever left back we bring in, it's highly likely they're going to spend the majority of the time on the bench because of how good Joe Bagan's been and how well he does for the team and how much he understands Brian Barry Murphy's tactical instructions and the rest of it. Like Joe Bagan, if he's fit, he's going to play. So what left back wants to come in and just to sit on the bench, particularly on a loan, because they want their players to play. The clubs do. And then it's the same with other positions. Like, I understand players will back themselves and they'll want to compete and the rest of it. And then the other side of that is, bringing in the wrong type of personality. They've really got to do their due diligence because the wrong type of personality can turn bad real quick. Now, I think BBM had said, didn't he? He said that they have one eye on, the summer if they were to bring anyone in. I think we'll bring in at least 2, maybe 3. That would be my prediction. But that's just educated guess. Graham says, my worry is if we go up and struggle at the start of the season, the club need to stick by BBM and not panic and sack him like other seasons. 100%, mate. But I also don't think we'll struggle. Just my opinion, and people could be free to disagree. I think we got a really good young squad of players who are going to get better. Alex Robertson's going to get better. Ruben Colwell's going to get better. Joel Colwell's going to get better. Kipakio's going to get better. Dylan Lawler's going to get better. Will Fish is going to get better. Like, they've all got quite a high ceiling, in my opinion, ability-wise. And I think if we keep the manager, those players will continue to improve. And I don't think any of those players that I just mentioned will have any issue stepping up into the Championship. And then you've got your Salages and your Joel Bagans who have played in the Championship before. I think Ollie Tanner is capable of playing in the Championship and playing it really well. Just got to keep him fit. I think he's going to be massive for us this year, coming into the run-in now. Squeaky bum time, because he just gives you something. I think I said in the video I did about him, he's just a bit of a maverick. Like, he doesn't always do what you expect him to do. Like, sometimes he will put it on his right foot and just shoot, and from a quite a narrow angle, and you're thinking, you're not expecting him to shoot because it's not on his left foot and it's a narrow angle. He's grown on me a lot this year. I think he's got a much better attitude this year, don't mind. Not the only one, by the way, but I think he's been really good. Jonathan, Parky's a legend. Can't have no Parky slander on you. Paul says, great to see BBM get manager of the month. Not just that, but how all the backroom staff and all the key to the success on the pitch. Every one of them has been fantastic. Yeah, best signing we made in years. Best signing we made in years. Yeah, Martin, you're not the only one there, mate. He said, would love to sign a big physical midfielder. Not going to say his name, but I would have liked him in the summer. Big Nev. I did an evening with Big Nev. Was it in the pre-season? I forget when it was. Not that long ago. Where I hosted it for a football club for their sort of charity evening or whatever. And he was a pleasure. I had a lot of fun with him, I've got to say. You got to know how to take his dry sense of humor, but I really enjoyed him. And I would like to probably do one with him at some point. Paul makes a great point. We learn a lot of things from defeats, and this team puts them right. Not just defeats, mate. It's sometimes when it just doesn't go to plan, but you get over the line and get a draw or a win. Like, it's learning from it. We played Wickham the other week, and we were phenomenal in the first half, and then we missed a load of chances. Didn't have that problem yesterday. We got the goals and then shut up shop. And if not for a wonderful goal from Metcalf, it's a clean sheet yesterday. I don't remember Nathan Trott making a save. But credit to Bradford, they were really good in possession. They moved the ball. They try and play football the right way. I really enjoy watching them play football, but they didn't create any clear-cut opportunities bar that one. Gav says, same as I want to share with my daughter the League One trophy. 100%, mate. 100%. That's what it's all about. 10 wins and a few draws, 20 left to play. Yeah, we just got to keep ticking them games off in it. 19 left. Just got to keep ticking them games off. Do you know the team I really want to put a spanking on is Burton. That game really upset me. It was the most anti-football performance I've ever seen in my life. And I get it. They got to just do what they got to do. But I would love to just go to their place and stick 5 on them. Not saying we will. Just saying I would like to. There was a naughty one. You're right there, Jonathan, on Sarajevich with his elbow. He was it on? No, it was on. There was one on Wintle as well in the first half. But luckily, Wintle doesn't make a meal of it. And the guy forearms him in the side of their mouth. It's just tackle on Ashford. The one on Isaac, I thought was just I just can't. Clearly, it's not dangerous, right? But it's the ball's over there. It's gone up the wing. Isaac's turned, looking towards where the ball's gone, and the guy's just clattered into him from behind. If he's got the ball, fair enough. It's a foul, maybe a yellow card. Off the ball, I just think that should be a red. It's at least an orange card. I thought the one on Bagan was a 100% a penalty. Gavin says, any news on Perry and injury and Capaccio? Capaccio's back in training on Monday. Perry NG has been monitoring him for a couple of weeks. I'm sure he'll be fine, but they just got to manage it. I haven't seen Alexander's post-match interview, but Martin just said there that he did acknowledge that Bagan being a penalty as well. So, Josh says, evening chaps, that opening 35 minutes we were irresistible yesterday. Fabulous win away. Not many sides will turn them over. Stockport lurking, another tough game. Anything close on the transfer front? I think we'll get 2 in, mate. Maybe 3, but I think 2 will get in. That's just me. Trot in midfield for the last game against Manfield. Jonathan says, some Bradford fans have been saying in that 20-minute spell, we played like Barcelona, way above the League One level, and the best side they faced this season. Yeah, I saw this Bradford fan put a post similar to that in the EFL chat on Facebook, and then a load of other fans from Lincoln and a few others were just saying that we got a team that looks, it's way above the Championship. And it was what was quite nice in that group. I think it was like a Rotherham fan or something put something like, oh yeah, you should think so with the amount they've spent. And then a couple of fans from other clubs in League One were like, no, they got rid of literally half their squad, and they're all playing with academy players. And that was quite nice to see, because that was obviously non-Cardiff people saying that. So that was cool. Paul says Chambers was his man of the match, as does Martin. So Jonathan says, what's the rules for putting a certain strength team out when we've won promotion? Just thinking of players that we could give minutes to when the league is done. I don't know, mate. I think you're supposed to play your strongest possible side, but I just always think it's 19, mate. Grow up. Temper. People are funny. Stockport. So Stockport's weird. I wasn't that impressed with them in the first game. They were good, but I don't know. maybe I expected a bit more from them at their place. Like, I thought they would come out a bit, and yeah, I don't know. Thought they were a bit defensive. Like, maybe I need to rewatch. I'll rewatch the game before I do all the previews and that. But it'll be a very tough game, and I think they're the sort of side who's that are just like, look, they're the sort of side who can trouble you away from home, and I think if we can get a big result versus them, that'll be good. So Partridge 51 is very angry. He says, for fuck's sake, we've got 20 games left, get the basics right. Well, in fairness, I was doing off the top of my head without the league table in front of me, but I'm very, very sorry. Jonathan, there's definitely 19 games left. Don't know what you're talking about. Caroline says, Trott was my man of the match. The way he set up his deck chair on his line was exceptional. That must have been the easiest game he's had all week, isn't it? All season. Josh says, Osho done well yesterday, but I wouldn't stick him in at home just yet. Too many home fans try digging out one individual. Yeah, there's a few of them, mate. Away games suit him, and he complements Chambers with his pace. I don't disagree, mate. I also think at home we need the ball playing of Dylan Lawler and the diagonals of Will Fish. So I almost quite like that. Fish, Lawler at home, Chambers and Osho away. Quite like it. But then I also, Chambers and Lawler the other week were just exquisite. So, yeah. And so Reese says that Tanner got both assists yesterday, didn't he? I think, which is a good return. So after his injury, yeah, he's already affecting games, mate. And that was what I said in the video earlier in the week, was like, I think he can be a genuine game changer for us. That's like a new signing, and he's got he just does things a bit different. And yesterday I thought was quite a tough game for him, because every time he got the ball, they were like tight to him. So he didn't get many opportunities to just get the ball and run at the fullback and sort of isolated against the fullback like we do at home. And I thought, particularly for the corner, I thought it was really clever. He went short, and then he doesn't just whip it into an area. He plays a firm, fast pass into Chambers. So Chambers has just got to get like any sort of touch on it. So it's like, it was good. I like it. Definitely 19, Jonathan. Tanner claiming an assist for Turnbull is stretching it a bit. Well, mate, he passed it to him. It was the final pass before the goal. It is what it is, isn't it? Josh says, Wes Burns out of contract at end of the season side. Cardiff boy, versatile, experienced promotion winner. Have a look, mate. I think it was Scott Johnson put a list of players who are out of contract in the summer, and there was a couple on there which I quite liked. Ravi Matondo's out of contract. I'm not sure. I probably would on a free. But I think it's a big couple of years for Ravi to really take hold of his career and go and show the ability he's got, like, and affect games. And I would love it if he came and did it at Cardiff. Don't get me wrong. I think he's got bags of talent, bags of skill. But I think it's his next move will be a big one for him. Maybe he will end up at Cardiff. I know we've had a look at him over the last couple of years on loans and stuff. Never quite materialised or following up. Yeah, let me know what's happening in the AFCON. Because if I start going into loads of windows, my internet goes, the stream drops. But let me know what's going on. Alex just said it's just gone nuts. Martin says next season I'd like us to sign Ozo from Crystal Palace, currently 20, just the sort of player that BBM likes working with. I'm sure we will pick up a couple of young lads in the summer. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if we go for a kind of very young profile of player. Because I think the experienced players, I'm trying to think, how old is Chambers? He's like, we haven't got I don't think we've got like anyone who's like 35 of we who's like going to age out and be done. Like they're all sort of late 20s, the experienced lads, like they're like late 20s to early 30s, which is good. So Bradford's XG was 1.11, Cardiff's was 0.53, and no, I still don't understand it. How's that working? Yeah, I suppose it would be set plays, wouldn't it? Martin makes a good point. It would be based on set plays. They've scored previous 4 goals from set plays. Yeah, they take all sorts into account, mate. But Jonathan says lots of podcasts for League One been mocking the amount we've spent after criticism in the summer for not spending, which is why I think we will struggle, which is why they think we will struggle, which is comical. It's funny, mate, isn't it? Gavin says, I said after the Stockport away game, I can't wait to play them on a big pitch, popping a ball around the defence. Yeah, if I remember correctly, and I'm going off the top of my head, and my memory's not always the best. It was a really narrow pitch, and a couple of times we tried to play those diagonals, and it just sort of we just ran out of room, didn't we? And we weren't able to isolate the fullbacks as much. So yeah, you'll be one of them, won't it? Gavin says, did anyone notice the Bradford home game where we lost? They won the coin toss and turned us around, messed with our game. Yeah, they made us go against the Canton stand first half, didn't they? But we did the same to them yesterday, and they were booing. Yeah, look. So what's that? Gavin says, Senegal have walked off the pitch due to a pen against them. Jesus. Never boring. The one player I would love to sign on them, in fact, someone has mentioned, Paul's mentioned him then. The one player that I would try and sign in the summer, and I would try and get it done early doors like now, is Dom Ballard. Cleary as well is a quality player, but Dom Ballard, the age he's at and the skill set he has the ability to play just off the striker as a number 9, as a winger, or as a wide attacker in the way we play. I would get him in 100%, and I would pay like some cash. You pay money for strikers anyway. He would be a player I'd be targeting. He'd probably be at the top of my shopping list in the summer if I was BBM. Now, I'm not BBM, and I'm sure he's got his own ideas and whatnot. But if there was any way to kind of start working on that deal early doors, get in touch with his agent or whatever, I'd be doing it now, because Callum Robinson's about 30 odd. At some point, you need like a different option to him and Salic. I know you've got like Isaac and Kian and people, but I just think Dom Ballard is the skill set and the attributes that he's got. That he can carry the ball, he can run in behind, he can link up play. He's a real player. And for someone so young, I think he's got a really high football IQ. If you watch his movement, not just to create space for himself, but the way he creates space for other people, he reminds me of Kean Ashford in that respect. Intelligent movement to create space for other people. Scores goals. I'm sure there'll be people will be after him because of his age as well. He's only, was he 21? 20. He's not even 21 till April. Born on April Fool's Day. 15 goals in 20 games this season in all competitions. Wow. And he's played through. They have got an option for an extra year. His contract's up in 2028 though, so he's only joined them this year, which is mad. But ultimately, Leyton Orient will take the money if they get offered some decent money for him. They have to. Yeah, he's a quality footballer and a good all-round game. And I was just looking at his transfer market, and it says he's only played as a number 9. But I think with his skill set and his abilities, he could play as a just off the striker, like a second striker, just off the striker. And he could play wide. So, yeah, he's... yeah, you're right there, Martin. Southampton Academy is a top place to learn your trade. So... Barnsley is going to be a tough game. They've had some real results recently. scoring goals as well. So yeah, we gotta do our thing. Was it Luton they beat on the weekends? Absolutely wiped the floor with them. Or have I got that wrong? I'm trying to think. Oh, my memory, man, is shocking. Absolutely shocking. Oh. I'm not going to go into it. I've just gone into another window and straight away my computer slows down. So I'm going to bin that off. I might have frozen as well now because I can't see my screen, but we'll let it catch up. So yeah, loads of stuff. I want to watch the AFCON. So I'm finishing up now. So tomorrow lunchtime we have player ratings. Tomorrow night, Cardiff City phone in, and then after that, about 9 o'clock will be the member show. We have a real good video on Alex Robertson this week. Like, I haven't recorded it yet, but the script is wicked. It is so much research and detail gone into it. Been working on it for the last week or so, and hoping that it'll come out on video as well as I've got it pictured in my head, and it'll be something I can really be proud of. Why did I think that Barnsley beat Luton? Did they beat them recently? I don't pay much attention to the other team's results. I sometimes I just look at like Lincoln and that, but well, it don't matter. Lincoln drew 2-2 with Luton. That's right. So, well, it doesn't. Not to worry. I'm back on the radio tomorrow as well. Newport City Radio from 11. Would love to see you in a WhatsApp chat on the radio station, and I'd love to see you get involved. Going to play Guest the Year, play some good music, listen on your digital radio, on the internet, whatever it may be. Newport City Radio from 11 in the morning with Si. I'll be back lunchtime on Cardiff City World. Dropped a couple of videos on at the Si 1927 over the last couple of days. The one was a Cardiff one was about clickbait and all that sort of stuff. So go and check that out if you would be so kind. And of course, you can check out the 5 Things video from earlier today. Got all sorts. I'm hoping this week we can get this live event signed, sealed, and delivered, and I can tell the members. And then, like I said, when it's up for sale, members will get 24 hours to buy the tickets before they go on the public sale. And like I said, a couple of people who are in a circle, my team, they think it's the biggest one we've done ever, which is bigger than Bellamy. But we'll see what the people think. Either way, those tickets will be gone in probably 24, 48 hours. So it's quite handy to be a member of Cardiff City World or patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. And ultimately, that's what allows us to create content on Cardiff City 7 days a week. And like I said, we've got Inside the EFL being filmed, starting to film that soon. We've got a couple of interviews with ex-City players that I'm going up to do, and all sorts of other interesting stuff. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Get involved in the chat. It's always a good time. You look after yourselves, keep the faith, and I'll see you in the week. This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the Spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans. Balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.